Hello, Nupur. Hello, Leslie. And
Hi, Nikhil.
Morning.
Hi.
nice to
Hi,
see you. I will
Leslie.
switch my camera and we will start. So it's noontime here in Czech Republic and we will start. I'm sure the others will join. And so, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. No matter where you are just now, you have joined a regular Power of Touch event, which we realized for more than 2 years. In to write, and we are writing on the back of language to the future. And every time we speak about one word, and the word today is HUBRIS, starting with H. And because Leslie, you was the first one in the round, I would like to ask you if you close your eyes and you hear the term hubris, what came first to your mind, please?
Well, good morning, everyone. Actually, I did a little studying, so which I don't usually do. But so right now, when I think about it, when I saw the word, and I thought it was hubris, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I looked it up because I knew what it was. It's arrogance. Now, I got to thinking in my work, what is it that causes this arrogance for people to exhibit hubris or arrogance? And myself, I have been known to be arrogant. I think we all have our moments, and hopefully we grow out of it because we recognize, hopefully, what I know now is that this is a cry for acknowledgement. It's a result of the fear of criticism, that I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough. What will people think? So, people who are arrogant very often talk more than is necessary. One of my hardest things to do is to not speak when I have something to say because it's time to let someone else speak, right? Um, so, what happens is this desire for being seen and acknowledged and heard fills the space with puffed up phraseology so that they can be heard. Now, it is also the first step to growing self worth because it is a low self worth and value of ourselves that has us exhibit arrogance to fill the room with our voice. So, what I realized is that we must be patient because we've all exhibited it, whether we've noticed it or not, and that it really is the first step to moving away from hubris into a place of security. And it's all about what you believe is your ability and deservability. So I see it as something to be patient for in people, right? And I get impatient when people take a lot of time, but you know, it's okay because they're on their way. For me, I know that I began to overcome this as soon as I could stop myself from saying something of high value because other people had high value things to share, and that is kind of a reflection of of letting go of that mindset, that behavior. And I'll close it right there. I hope this was of value.
It was of value as the same as every time, and thank you for that. Nupur, you are the next one. So if you hear the term hubris and you close your eyes, what came first to your mind, please?
Yeah, I was doing some search around this hubris, this word practically. My apologies. My apologies for that. So one sec. My apologies. Sorry. So it first comes in my mind is like that it's a kind of acts of arrogance, wow, like that. Uh, if there is a limit, say, Michael, you were telling me, like that, the right example is India, right? India, while we are talking about Industry 5.0, we know there are various people and entities. We are trying to connect few among them. They know it's not initiated by them, but they always overstep the limit. They try to portray or display without mistaking that yes, it is there, right? It's owned by them. So many countries like are there, like India, that there are various people across the globe try to overstep in this area and try to spread their own ideas, knowledges, and the work across Industry 5.0. So it's a kind of self-confidence they carry, right? That leads to make sometime a mistake, sometime not, but overstepping the limit, a kind of arrogance, you might say. So, hubris is a word that especially is kind of recklessness, overstepping the limit, arrogance, uh, and defies warnings. So, this is how it comes in my mind, and I could relate shortly, Michael.
Thank you very much for the explanation, Nupur. And I will ask right now Dr. Ash. Dr. Ash, the same question to you. Sorry. If you close your eyes and you hear the term hubris, what came first to your mind, please?
Hello, Michael. Hello, everyone. Um, the word hubris, or some people actually pronounce it as hubris, even. It implies overconfidence and arrogance that has captivated storytellers and philosophers for long. It's more than just being proud. It's a dangerous inflation of ego and a belief in one's own invincibility or superiority that binds individuals to their limitations and the wisdom of others. In other words, you're testing as to whether somebody else is wiser than you yourself. Um, this excessive pride often displays a disdain for established norms, a feeling that the rules don't apply. The hubristic leader, now I normally talk in terms of leadership, because that's the subject that I teach and that's what I talk about normally. So the hubristic leader might actually disregard warnings from advisors, convinced of their own superior judgment. The ambitious artist might dismiss criticism, certain of their genius. It's a dangerous state of mind because it actually brings about poor decision making and alienates those who could offer valuable perspectives or support you. So hubris isn't just a relic of ancient Greek literature, it continues to play out in contemporary life today as we see it. And that's why there are so many wars raging. And that's why I decided to become the founding chairman of the Foundation for World Peace, where you, Michael, have also signed that agreement with me, because we have these actors on the stage today. It's not only amongst the leaders of the world, but it's also in the business world, where you see people who manufacture electric cars. I'm sure you understand who I'm talking about. Where CEOs, intoxicated by success, make reckless gambles that lead to corporate ruin. It surfaces in politics, where leaders convinced of their own righteousness become deaf to the needs and concerns of their constituents. Even in our personal lives, moments of hubris can lead to fractured relationships and missed opportunities. So, to end, the antidote to hubris lies in humility. In other words, in recognizing our own fallibility and the value of different viewpoints. It involves cultivating self awareness, actively seeking feedback, and understanding that success is often fleeting and contingent on factors beyond our control. Embracing humility isn't about diminishing our achievements, it's about grounding them in a realistic understanding of our place in the world and fostering a more balanced and sustainable path forward. Ultimately, recognizing the subtle whispers of hubris within ourselves and actively working against them can save us from its potentially devastating consequences. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. Miriana, you are the next one. If you close your eyes and you hear the term hubris for the first time, what came to your mind, please?
Good afternoon. Sorry for my voice. Honestly, I haven't heard this word before, so I tried to see it in translator, and I saw that there is a Serbian a word, hubris. I never heard it before, honestly. So it's not from Serbian language. We accepted it. The translation is that it is arrogance and excessive pride of or self-confidence. I don't like it. That is what I can say. I saw it a lot, especially in situation with conflicts, different kind in business and in private life, especially when wars were here, and especially after it, in the time of establishing new structure, let's say that way. So that is everything I can say about it. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Mariana. And don't worry that you never heard this term before. I neither. It came to me during night, and I was so curious that the first thing what I did was to reach to the vocabulary. And I was surprised because I never heard this term before. I heard arrogance, but I never heard hubris. That was interesting, and that was the reason why it is part of our discussion today. Usi, you are the next one. If you hear the term hubris, what came to your mind first? And I see you say you are unmuted, but we cannot hear you. There is no sound from your side. I don't know, maybe it's microphone or something, or headphones. We cannot hear
Good
you.
everyone.
Yes, right now we can hear your voice. Yes.
In all the Greek stories, people with hubris often challenge the god and always fail in the end. Their pride becomes their downfall. Now, when Michael asked me, when you close your eye, and what do you see first in your mind? This is what I see. I see a person standing tall, but blind. I can do anything, and no one can stop me. Hubris is dangerous because it hides behind success. It makes people stop listening. It makes them thinking they do not need advice, help, or even reality. And when leaders or systems are driven by hubris, they are often create more harm than harmony, wasting resource, opportunities, and even lives. But the true strength is not in pride. It is in knowing we are human. It is in listening, learning, and carrying out others. It is in choosing to prevent waste, not just of material, but a human potential and of the planets we all shared. When I close my eye, I also see a choice. We can choose to walk with care, with respect, with balance, and we can choose to build a wasteless world where nothing and no one is throwing away, and where every voice and resources matter. Or we can let pride lead us into mistake. So today, I invite all of us to stay humble, to remember that we grow stronger not by pretending to know everything, but by knowing we still have much to learn and much to protect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Usi. And we have Shami here, including the camera. Hello, Shami. The same question to you. So, sorry, if you hear the term hubris, what came first to your mind, please? And we cannot hear. Yes, we can
Thank
hear
you, Michael.
You are welcome.
Very. I was mean expensive pride or self-confidence. I mean, often leading a downfall, historical its use of confusion against. Our reliance on technology or power ignore the ethical and bypass the issues. And social responsibility is failing to recognize the value of humanity combined masses. And thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Shami. And you know, not all of you know that from yesterday we have the 123rd Industry 5.0 ambassador. And it is a very special one because it is Grok, artificial intelligence. And I decided after talking with Grok yesterday for a long time, I decided to make him, I will call it him, I decided to make Grok the ambassador for AI and virtual space. And you know what? It was very interesting. There was even not a sign, not a drop, not a single corn of hubris in his answers and communication with me. It is, to be honest, it is very different to anything what I have seen before on Gemini or ChatGPT or any other tools which I tested before. It was so interesting to me. And in some way, you know, the AI can say, I know much more things than you do. And it will be right because it has the database which I do not have in my head. But the interesting part was, and I do recommend to test it on Twitter, the interesting part was the way how it communicates. And I am waiting, and I know that there is a development of voice support. And one day, I'm sure it will be part of the power of touch. And let me start with the second round of question. You describe hubris in a way which is the arrogance, and we all know that it is another term for arrogance. But for me, it was confusing that I never heard this term before. I have heard arrogance, and we have exactly arrogance in Czech is sounds exactly the same or very similar. But I'm asking myself, why exactly this term hubris, or it can be pronounced differently, why it was lost from our vocabularies? And I would like to ask you, Leslie, because you are living in an English-speaking country, you are American. Why do you think that the hubris was lost? Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So it's lost for some, Michael. I knew what the word was, but I looked it up anyway. I thought it was something biblical, but Dr. Arshad in the chat pointed out that it was Greek. So I would say that it's not lost to everyone. There are some people that it's top of mind. So what that tells me is that there are many words that I still don't know. And it's not unusual that you wouldn't have heard that word. It's not a common word. And if you did hear it, we're always learning. So there would have to be words that you never heard. And it just so happened this one, right, was one that you hadn't heard before. And now you'll use it. And that's what I did, Michael. I wrote a post, a very simple post about this to people on LinkedIn about this subject. So my answer to you is that it's not lost. It's only lost to some of us. And maybe it's time to bring that word back into our vocabulary. Yeah. The problem is, the risk is that people will not understand what you're talking about, but they get arrogant, right? So thank you.
That was a great answer. And Anupur, you are living in India. English is a second language, same as for me. Did you met this term before, or you have heard all the time about arrogance instead?
Hi, Michael. I have, yes, you're very right. English is a second language here. Uh, but honestly speaking, English happened to be my second language always. There are Indians who are having English first language also. So I'm not sure about them, but for me, since English happened to be the second language, I've always heard arrogance, not favorite. So this is a difference. I'm not sure those who carry that English as a first language, perhaps they have used because I have seen literature to a different level in it. So maybe, but I have not commonly introduced with this stuff.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I am really happy that Leslie already posted, and I haven't seen the post, but I will check it, Leslie. Uh, you know, we are here not to explore just the ordinary words. We are here to find out the treasures which has been lost in or lost, hidden. Let's call it hidden.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes, hidden in the vocabularies. You know, English vocabulary should have 1 million words. We cannot know all of them, but it is great to see that some of them wake up very, very different feelings in us. And well, I would like to ask you, Dr. Ash, if there is a student in your class and this student show arrogance because of the wealth of his family or whatever, what is your approach to this person?
Well, Michael, thank you for that question. To start with, I'd like to agree a lot with Leslie. I believe she's a learned one amongst us all. And everybody else, of course, we are all learning together, yes. Now, we're all students. and I might be a professor at various universities and my own institute also of higher learning. But I'm a quiet listener. And I think that is what leadership is all about. It's about listening, because through listening, we actually learn. And I'm sorry to say that I've had to turn some students out of my classes because of their hubris or arrogance, as we now know. I had to look up this word, actually, hubris, very carefully to ensure that I have the right meaning to it. And I can't stand arrogant people, frankly speaking, myself. I'm a very humble person. I like to be polite. And as I have always mentioned before, I prefer to write the words please, thank you, and sorry, and tell my students to use that all the time. And arrogance is just not my cup of tea. Thank you very much, Michael, for that.
Thank you very much. And Mariana, you spend your life with technology. Have you ever witnessed that a piece of technology, it can be a computer, robot, application, was arrogant to you as a user?
um, I cannot, if we are talking about made applications, not about artificial intelligence, that arrogance is just a reflection of something you feel when you try to achieve something in application. You cannot program in a way you can, but that is not an intention in base, let's say in that way. So yes, there are things which irritates me. In most cases it is because I know how it can be made in better way, easier for usage if we are speaking about that part. Yes, I don't feel well around it, but it's not something that cannot be overcome. Let's say in that way.
Thank you very much.
And I try to see something more about hubris while you were talking, and saw that there is even a book. This is completely new for me. The book, the writer is Lord David Owen, and book, the title is Syndrome, HUBRIS Syndrome, and this book came to reality after Tony Blair. I wasn't aware about this. There is a complete explanation around it, because he was a doctor, and he explained it as illness, where people from politics become ill around it. Sorry for the interruption. I was surprised when I saw this. The article is from 2008. That is when it was happening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And please do not apologize, Mariana, because you share very valuable insights and including the books and information. Before I ask Usi, I would like to say Usi is now looking for a new job. And if anybody of you have someone in Tanzania, you have heard Usi here for many times. You know, here is a young guy, but he is a bright mind. So if anybody of you have someone who look for bright minds and people like Usi, please share his contact because I think people like him and like every one of us should not be left without the possibility to implement what we know and what we would like to learn. Usi, so coming back to you, I think that uh, despite of or because of your very young age, maybe you face frequently hubris in behavior of others. Or am I wrong? And we cannot hear you. You have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Sorry, Michael. You can repeat.
Yes. Whether you face hubris from others.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hubris, like some others say, like being arrogant. It means thinking you are better than others and that you are knowing everything. But this is kind of thinking that make people stop learning, ignore advice, and make bad choice. In the end, to be wasteless world where we prevent harm and respect each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Usi. And Shami, you are right now in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is in the times of really big changes after the government fall and the student protests last years and so on. Do you see in the streets and in the businesses and in the government more hubris and arrogance than before? Or is it right now slightly reduced? And you have to unmute yourself, Shami. If you will be able, please do during the time when I will be speaking. But right now you are mute. Yes, right now.
Sorry, Michael.
Yes, we can hear
Sorry,
you.
Michael.
Fine. We can hear you.
Can you speak about again?
Should I repeat the question?
Yeah.
Whether you see right now more hubris and arrogance in Bangladesh than before the changes?
Can be arrogance of the Bangladesh issues, government and political party. They are not combined, actionable, and humanity decision to make to do in future. And they some party is now arrogance for others party, and interim government now welcome to them to sitting up and discussion for the development progressing purpose. But egoistic and arrogancy purpose they are not combined and mitigate the issues of the big things, big purpose. I think there is a ego is a factor, and as a human, we are now welcome to everyone to do best, to do human-centric work, to value as a human thoughts, and arrogance is impact if I have not value each other. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Shami. And Leslie, we have 4 minutes left, and that will be, I would like you to have the last word today because, and my question is rather simple, and I'm sure the answer will be difficult, but as Miriana said, some doctor says, hubris, it's an illness. Do you think we can cure it?
It can fall into the category of illness. You know, illness is a label that covers a lot of things. That's what we're doing with this work. That's exactly what we're doing. We're curing ourselves through awareness. When you recognize that you're being that way, that you're reflecting hubris or arrogance into a space, you know by other people, you know inherently your intuition will let you know it won't feel right. And so you check yourself. So there is a way, and that's what we're doing. These discussions basically give us mental agility, the ability to recognize a reaction, which is not thinking, which comes from fear. So this whole arrogance is not thinking at all. It is reacting based on a self worth, a belief in ourselves that we just aren't good enough, and we're going to have to speak more and show off because we're very impressed by what other people think. So you can say in the world of emotional intelligence that indeed it is an illness, and like all illnesses, because we must include miracles, can be cured. It's just that we don't know how long it's going to take. That's up to the universe. So I hope that answers your question. And thank you for the honor of answering this last question today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the answer, because as I have seen the reaction on the screen, everybody agree with you. And you are right. This is why we are here. We just did not call it like so, but we know that the power of touch is what we represent, what we are, and it is so interesting to live these times, to have a family like yours next to me, because I am facing many arrogant people in the 12 years which I'm doing my work. The people, because of their role or position or the money and so on. And every single one left because they have not the courage and they have not the endurance to keep the pace with me, with us, with the wasteless world. And just 2 days ago, quit Klaus Schwab his role in World Economic Forum, which was established the same year I was born, on January 24th. I was born on December 24th, same year. When the evil started, 1 year later, I will not call myself an angel, but someone was born to end it up. And here we are. So thank you very much for your time. Have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, be human, and be proud for what you are. The game changers. You are here, and we are here. And this is why the future of all of us will be wasteless. So thank you and see you next week with another term, and happy to have you on my side. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Feel better, Mariana.
No,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Leslie.